Hey guys, it's Brianna and welcome to day 11 of my Vlogmas series. In today's episode of Breed TV, I have my friend Carla. I brought Carla with me for today's video, y'all. We're ripping our LSU gear, and in today's video, we're going to be telling you guys some advice on studying abroad. So if you guys like the video, make sure you leave a thumbs up, make sure you click the subscribe button, and that you also click the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I post a new video. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the advice. We're gonna start the video off by getting to know Carla, okay? So Carla, which school did you go to in the UK?
So I went to a university called the University of Essex, which is a county that's about an hour away from London. So I did 3 years here before coming to LSU.
Okay, and that goes into my next question. Which year are you?
Okay, so I'm a senior technically, but most people that do study abroad go during their sophomore year. No, sorry. Most people doing their study abroad come during their junior year. It's just because of COVID, we ended up coming a bit later, but most people usually do it during their junior year. But I'm technically a senior and I've already graduated.
Okay, and then what is your major? What are you studying here?
So I do American studies, which in the US would translate as African American studies because it just doesn't exist here, which basically comprise like American history, politics, literature, that kind of thing.
Okay, and before coming to LSU for a year abroad, where else in America have you visited?
Okay, so before coming here, the only places I'd been to was LA in California, New York, and I'd been to Washington as well, but I was really young, I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last question is, how much did your year abroad cost?
So a typical year in the UK is about $12,600 per year. So our degree as well in the UK is 3 years for an undergraduate bachelor as opposed to 4. And with study abroad, it ends up being about $1,700 for the year. So I think a lot of people don't know that, but if you study abroad, I can't speak for America, but I know in a lot of European countries, your university will cover most of your tuition fee for you to actually go and study. So it kind of actually ends up being cheaper than a normal year back home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna talk about the academic difference between London and America, I guess, in your experience being here, from an academic standpoint. So do you think that the coursework here is more rigorous than it is in the UK?
I don't know if it's more rigorous, but the American format at college, I feel like there's a lot more work to do. So the concept of pop quizzes, we don't have back home in the UK. Also, quickly, I'm from London, but I was also educated in the French system, so I know a bit about both the French and the UK system, and none of them have pop quizzes. There isn't really homework when you get to college. You only kind of get a couple assignments per course you take. Here they're a lot more on your back, so you can't really be slacking, which I think is kind of better in a way because you're more focused. But I actually personally found the work itself I'm not going to say it's easier, but our essays back home are all about 3,000, 4,000 words. Ooh. Here they're a lot shorter. So the work, in my opinion, isn't as difficult, but there's a lot more of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's more frequent, but it's less work.
Yeah, in my opinion, anyway.
And then how would you compare the school spirit here, specifically at LSU compared to your school at home? I mean,
we're wearing LSU sweatshirts right now. This doesn't happen back home. It's a lot more fun, I feel here, especially because LSU is a sports school. So between the football team, the basketball team, people get excited to go watch them play. Sports exist obviously back home, but we don't have big teams or anything at a college level. University is mostly just academic. So here it's just a lot more fun. Even just tailgating. I didn't even know something like tailgating existed before coming here. Which is kind of the big parties, not even parties, a big social event that happens before football game here. So it's just, there's a lot more school spirit. I don't even think we really have school spirit back home. No one wears, you won't catch me with a University of Essex sweatshirt. I've been here 4 months and I haven't 2 LSU hoodies. That doesn't happen back home, but I kind of like it. I feel it's nice to feel that you're representing your school. I never really felt that before. Yeah. Okay,
so now dabbling into the social aspect of LSU, how would you rate the parties here compared to the parties at home?
Okay, so first of all, in the UK, every single university has a student union, which you have here as well, but the student union also will have a club, and every single day, more or less,
Wait, your student union has a club?
Yeah, every student union has a club. So, and they organize events, there'll be a hip hop day, like a disco day. Like there's always something happening there. So I didn't know America didn't have that. So when I came here, I was like, where do people go? Where do people go out? No, I was really confused. So here, most of the parties are like house parties. At LSU, there's a collection of bars called Tigerland, which is fun. If you're in organizations like frats or sororities, then you'll probably go out more. I'm not in any organization, so the house parties are fun. Like, they're there. There's something to do. Personally, like, I like all kinds of music, but in Louisiana anyway, a lot of parties I went to, it's a lot of like local Louisiana type hip hop, which like I don't mind, but there isn't much variety. That's the only thing I'm gonna really say. But you know, like any night out is really what you make of it. So if you're with the right people, like you're gonna have a good time, in my opinion. But yeah, I prefer the parties back home, but it's just a different experience. That's honestly how I see it. So yeah, it's very different.
What was your first impression of LSU when you like arrived here?
I was really overwhelmed when I first arrived here because back home in the UK, even in most European cities, like you won't have a college of the scale. Like LSU is ginormous, like it's massive. Like just getting used to even just walking around the campus took a little while. Like I was lucky I had like met Brianna early on. This girl saved my life. She like showed me the ropes because it's difficult when you come as an international student. It's so different to anything back home. But like once I started getting used to it and stuff, like it is a very fun like college to be in. And it's a really, really nice campus. Like the campus is stunning. It's like one of the nicest campuses I've ever seen personally. So yeah.
Okay, so like going into like a little more like deeper into like the social aspect.
Yeah.
How do you feel about like in regards to safety being at LSU versus like in the UK?
Okay, so back home in the UK, so I went to Essex, which is very secluded. It's the countryside. Like there really isn't any safety concerns like per se. Going out in London, you know, you kind of, I feel like as a girl anywhere you are, like you have to kind of be on guard a little bit. But I've never really felt unsafe personally. Here, like Baton Rouge is like, can I say it's a rough city?
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough here.
Baton Rouge is a little bit of a rough city. I think if you're like in the confines of the campus, you're fine. But even at night, I wouldn't go walking anywhere alone, personally, just because it's an open campus, so technically anyone can wander on. They have LSU PD, which is separate to like the Baton Rouge Police Department, and like you see them patrolling around a lot. So I guess that is a layer of safety. But you know, at the end of the day, I would carry around like pepper spray, which we don't even have back home, but like I feel like it's something like just essential to kind of have here. And yeah, if you're walking, like I said, at night, probably walk with someone. Don't go wandering about. Even if you go out like places like Tigerland that are made for students, once again, like anyone can be at those events technically. So just to be more wary kind of thing. I've definitely been more aware being here. I was a little bit paranoid, to be honest, like when I first got here coming from London, just because I feel like there was a few more safety kind of issues and more threats that kind of existed here. But if you're like reasonable and you're careful, like you'll have a good time. Like I don't think it's like something that's in my mind every day that there's like, you know, I don't know how to say it. I don't think safety is something that's on my mind every day. Just be aware and yeah, just be careful and take the precautions and like you can have a good time. Like, you know, how many students go here? Like 30,000 students?
Yeah, 36,000.
Like it's full of students and you're always surrounded by students on campus. So it's honestly just being wary. And Baton Rouge is a city I would only really go into with someone that has a car. So I don't drive anyway. So I don't have a car obviously. So I'm usually like with Brianna or like someone that has a car. I wouldn't really go walking around the city, especially if you don't know, you know, where you're going, or just it's better to be with someone that knows the area kind of thing. But yeah. And another thing I would mention is, so Louisiana is an open carry state, which means basically anyone can have a gun at any time, wherever. LSU, like you can't have a gun. So like you'll find if you're on campus, like I said, LSU PD is everywhere, and on campus, like nothing ever really happens. Like it's super rare that anything ever happens. But off campus, yeah, anyone can have a gun. So like if you're like at a gas station at night, something like that, like you could bump into someone that has a gun. Like before coming to Louisiana, I'd never seen a gun in my life. And since being here, like I have seen quite a few like people carry guns. So that's something to be aware of as well. Like if you go to parties off campus, I personally only have been really going to parties on campus as of recent, just because, like I said, it's more safe, or Tigerland as well is safe. It's patrolled very heavily by LCPD. But parties off campus, just something to be aware of, like, if you don't really know who you're with, or like you don't know who's coming, like, incidents can happen, and they do happen sometimes. So that's just something to be aware of coming to Louisiana and like LSU specifically.
Okay, now going into like the food aspect, how would you rate the food like in Louisiana versus the food back home?
Strange concept, but here most people eat out. There's a lot of fast food chains in Louisiana, like loads and loads. In the UK, we have KFC, McDonald's, Burger King. That's literally about it that I can think of. So the food here, Louisiana food, like seafood boils and stuff. I love seafood. So if you love seafood, like you're gonna have some really good food down here. But when it comes to fast food and stuff, like you have to kind of, restrain yourself, because it's so easy and cheap to just be like, let's go out to eat quickly, like at Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A as well. So like you're gonna gain weight if you're not like active, or if you're always eating out. So you have to have some self-control, and yeah, just forcing yourself to like cook and stuff. I just think it's a better option as well. But there's loads of food like options around. The only thing is at LSU, and I feel like this is a big thing for international students, for whatever reason, the campus is massive, but there's no like supermarket or like anywhere to do groceries except for this one place called Mafern's, which is kind of a bougie supermarket. So the food's kind of expensive as well. So there's everything you want there, but it's kind of expensive. But like a Walmart, like a Target, like you need a car. There's no other way to get food. Like you're gonna have to get an Uber or find someone that has a car that can drive you there. So that's just something to be aware of. You can't just walk. There's nothing really walking distance from campus, to be honest. You need a car for everything around here. So that was very inconvenient, especially like first moving in here. I was taking Ubers everywhere and anywhere to just sort of settle in. But yeah, that's the only thing I'd mention.
Okay, so outside of like the food and stuff, moving into like people, what advice would you give to somebody that's international to like build relationships and like make friends with Americans here?
So making friends, firstly, before even coming here, because like I mentioned, I was meant to be here last year. So last year I went on Instagram, and I went on the like geo filter on Instagram, and I looked up LSU. I literally just looked up like students that were going there, and I just literally like reached out to people I didn't know, asking about, first of all, like questions about LSU, like any like recommendations on housing, that kind of stuff. And Americans are very friendly in general. Like that's been my experience, like talking to a lot of Americans. Like people want to help you out. So I got a lot of like positive like advice and stuff like that. And Brianna specifically, I met her through her YouTube channel, because I was looking up LSU vlogs, because like as an international student, you just want to see what it's like to be a student where you're going, especially if it's so different to what you know. So I literally just reached out to Brianna on Instagram, because I found her through YouTube as well. And she was super helpful. Like she basically like helped me find where I was going to live, like, because she showed me her apartment, and I knew that's the kind of place I wanted to live. Like she was super helpful in every way, like literally. And then when I got here, I just, reached out to her, and I was like, hey, it'd be nice if we could meet up. And like now she's my best friend. So honestly, you just kind of have to reach out to people and make that effort, because it can be very easy as an international student to come and decide, if you're from the UK, you're kind of just look for English people. If you're from France, you're only kind of, find French people and stay like, within that group. I think it is like a good thing, and it's a comfort thing when you first come here to be with people that, are from your country, or that, when it's so different, it's nice to have that kind of familiar feeling. And I definitely have UK friends, French friends here, but just sort of push yourself as well to kind of really be immersed like with Americans. That sounds weird to say, but just kind of push yourself to be with people you don't think you may have anything in common with, and then you find out that you may. Like you kind of just have to try and talk to as many new people as possible. And like I said, LSU is a massive school, so there's someone there for you that you can have something in common with. So you just kind of have to push yourself when you first get here to like, even if you're not someone that likes parties, like just go to social events, that kind of stuff. Welcome Week has loads of activities to kind of help international students like integrate. So yeah, just make the most of all of that when you first come here, even though like it is a bit scary, because the culture shock is a big thing, but people here are very nice in general. Like that's been my experience personally.
Okay, so how would you like, I guess, describe like the diversity here versus the UK?
Yeah, so London's a very diverse city, and I'm not going to say everyone gets along, because there's loads of problems back home as well, But coming to America, we have to like bear in mind Louisiana is like in the deep South, and based on just the history of the country and those kind of things to be aware of. It is a little segregated on campus. I don't think it's something that's intentional, but you do have that thing where like a lot of Black students will keep to themselves and like, you know, so on. But I don't think it's an issue, and it's not, like I said, I really don't think it's deliberate. I think the main point is coming from London that is very diverse and sort of kind of a melting pot. Like LSU was sort of a shock seeing how it was a little divided, but that doesn't stop you from, you know, meeting people of different ethnicities or races. Yeah. It's just something to be aware of coming here. But it is a very diverse institution at the end of the day, which I think is important. And I think a lot of PWIs probably don't have as many Black people that LSU has.
Yeah, there's like a joke, like LSU is like an HBCU because they have like a large Black population.
There's a large Black population here. Yeah.
And then also like if you join like organizations and like attend class, like you can meet people from other ethnicities like at different like academic things, social events. Like you can, it's possible to mingle with other people, but like she said, there is a like obvious like divide whenever you come to LSU, and that's something that I also like experienced when I transferred here. Is that I noticed a lot of Black people hang out with Black people and then white people hang out with white people.
Yeah.
But it's never intentional, and I wouldn't say it's like racism. I don't know. It's just it's just like that, you know? Okay, so after talking about like kind of like the separation between like white students and Black students at LSU, there's also you kind of see that with like Greek life, which is something that they don't have in the UK. So I want to know like what's your impression of like PHC sororities, or like the Pan-Hellenic Council, which is like predominantly white sororities, and then like the MPHC Greek life, which is like predominantly Black sororities and fraternities.
Yeah, so I don't know too much about white sororities and white fraternities. Like, it's not really something I've been involved in at all since being here. Before coming here, like, the only impression I had of those sororities was like what you saw in like Hollywood movies, which is like the big parties and stuff. So, I mean, there is like one part of that, which is like the houses are massive, like decorated, they're like beautiful. Like I just didn't, for some reason, like I knew it existed, but seeing it in person, like coming from the UK where it just does not exist, was really kind of impressive. I did go to one party, which I think was like a Fiji party.
Yeah.
It was like an after party.
It's so much fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun. That was the only experience I had, like going to a white fraternity. So it is kind of divided. Like obviously you have Black people in white fraternities and white sororities. It's just there's a lot less of them. So Brianna is an AKA, which is like you said, like the main Black sorority on LSU campus.
Yeah, it's like the biggest Black sorority on LSU's campus. Yeah. And Carla came to the Probate. So like what was your by the way, if you don't know what a Probate is, it's basically like the new member presentation for Black Greek life. So what was your impression of the Probate? Like what did you think of it?
I thought the Probate was really cool. Like Black like sororities and fraternities, like strolling, like I feel like there's a lot more like performative stuff that comes with it. And like repping your colors, stuff like that. I just think it's really nice. But even just knowing people that are part of this kind of organizations, like you'll be able to meet more people, like go to more social events, even like during tailgating. The Q Dogs, which is like one of the Black fraternities, like they hosted a tailgate and they gave out food, and it's just like a really fun environment to be in. Mm-hmm. So like I can't really talk about white sororities and white fraternities because I literally only went to that one party. But yeah, like I feel like it's something that's definitely fun to be around, even if you're not involved in it. Because again, it's just like another opportunity to meet people and like it's like a whole new social aspect that just doesn't exist back home.
Okay, and since you've been here for a semester and Carla's gonna be back next semester, so you're going to be abroad for a whole year. But after being gone for about like 5 to 6 months, like do you miss like your family, friends, and all that stuff back home?
Yeah, I definitely do. Like going abroad, like you're going to be homesick. It's just something that's going to happen in like different waves as well. Like I don't think it's a constant thing, but it's like some days like you'll miss like your friends and family more than the other, and like it is very far away. The UK has like a 6-hour time difference, which is quite large as well. But I think that's all the more reason to like keep yourself occupied and just try and get involved as much as possible. Because even I'm saying this and I feel like I could have even gotten involved more. So yeah, just try and keep yourself busy, and like I would encourage like anyone to study abroad. Like I honestly think like it's difficult and you're going to be homesick, like we just mentioned. but it's just such a unique experience. Like, you'll never get to do it again, really, to be able to study as part of your degree. Like, I just think it's so different. And I honestly think, like, wherever you end up making the best of your experience. And LSU just has so much available on the campus to basically, just get involved and just try something different. And as an international student as well, just coming in, so like some of the practical stuff that you have to think about, that, you know, like, because I've watched so many of these videos before coming here, and I think like some of the more practical things that aren't mentioned are like a SIM card. So I had a UK phone number before coming here, I kept it, but like having to get an American one, it's actually cheaper to get it once you're in America than back home, because I know some people did it back home and ended up costing more. Your bank, check before you go on your flight that either your card works in America, and if it doesn't, if there's a bank, like there's a bank on campus, which one is it? Like
like Campus Federal.
I know a lot of international students actually set up their cards there. Mine just so happened to work here, but you don't want any issues with your card when you're traveling, anything like that. Make sure you have cash on you in, you know, the country's destination, like currency. I had dollars on me when I came. Just make sure you're prepared for that. If anything goes wrong, like, you know, you can call someone, you have money on you, those kind of things. Even Uber, for example, like had my UK phone number registered to it, and I didn't have my American SIM yet, so I couldn't order one. So just those kind of things, keep in mind, all these little practical things, because you just want the journey to be as smooth as possible so that you can arrive, and then you can kind of worry about, you know, like food, that kind of stuff. But you just want the journey to go by smoothly, because it's going to be so different and kind of scary. And something I would mention as well, the same way I reached out to like Americans like at LSU, most schools, so like Essex had a group chat for people going to America. No one was going to LSU at my university, but LSU will have an international group chat, and that's how I met two of my friends that go here. We literally booked our flights together. We'd only met once, and we'd already booked our flights before actually meeting, but we're friends now, and it's just nice to be able to travel with someone. So I honestly would just say reach out to people. It may feel kind of weird, like reaching out to strangers, but like those could literally be like your future best friend, or it could just, you don't know who you're reaching out to. So I'd honestly say just take a chance, like talk to as many people as you can, like watch as many like of these videos, like just get informed, and like that's honestly how you make the most of your year abroad, I think. But yeah.
That was good advice. All right, thank y'all so much for watching the video. I hope that Carla was able to help all you students out there who are looking at studying abroad, and I hope that you guys liked the video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and go Tigers! Bye guys.
Bye.